I like this because it changes things up, Flats, because Cozy and I actually had our own separate predictions here too, and they looked almost identical. So hearing you say Sentinels, okay, rather fresh air here. Gonna take over the next set
What's up, Sun God?
though, with 100 Thieves versus Shroud X coming up right after that. What's your thoughts and opinions on that one?
I gotta go.
Am I watching esports again? Yes.
I mean, 100 Thieves, I think, was like the #1 team.
The Marvel Rivals Ignite playoffs start today.
They won the previous tournament as well. So they're always just a top team, always top contenders. So you can't write them off, especially after having a week of practice and being able to go back maybe to the drawing board on a couple of things. If they were, you know, maybe they learned some stuff from the FlyQuest matches. And Shroud X, honestly, can I just gotta say, I'm actually really happy for Shroud X because when I first started watching last week, I saw.
I'm actually surprised that like Flats is on here.
They weren't good. They were gonna get 0-4'd.
I thought he'd drifted back to the
entire match for like 4 or 5 games straight.
Overwatch side of the fence.
I'm really happy to see what kind of run that they've been on, but I still gotta give it 100 Thieves. I'm sorry.
Is this stage 2? Oh, well, I guess it's technically stage 2. Playoffs is stage 2.
Ego Death, the fun, the dive squad. They were like probably the most surprising team of the tournament to start out there. What's your thoughts on that? The winner of group stage, Group A, the group of Death, or Group B, or Ego?
I want to see Ego Death. I want to see Ego Death do it. I like that team.
So I'm guessing
their interviews won me over.
This is going to be 4 days. 1, 2,
even though
3, 4. Yeah, probably 4 days. So this is day 1.
Love it, dude. Thank you for giving your predictions to us. This is what we had. You were different, obviously, versus.
These are the exact same predictions.
I mean,
these are the teams that came out
to kick off the playoffs here as they're trying to fight
at the end, anyways. Who's not in this? Techie.
I've got a couple questions for you. Okay, you know. You're a streamer. You almost
Ego Death
qualified to get in here for Ignite. You guys were close over there. I've got to ask you, what's harder? You know, playing on a big stage like that, or trying to manage your chat backseat gaming over there? Which one's harder?
Oh, if we're talking mentally, definitely the chats. If we're talking like just, you know, playing in, yeah, we got to be locked in for those tournaments. And, you know, I'm getting up there. I feel like I'm getting a little old now. You know, it's hard to keep up with these younger whippersnappers. You know, they're a little quicker on the draw. And I kind of have to just be like, hey, like, how did you guys figure this out? Tell me how you did it. Like, how did you, like, we had some insane little strats. Like Gaspa taught me a lot from our time in the tournament, so I appreciated all of them. All of my teammates were awesome. But honestly, I think I enjoy this side a little bit more these days, where the co-streaming, just having a good time with it. It's way less stressful. Although sometimes I regret reading, especially TikTok chat. I see things there that
TikTok chat is valid as fuck.
The wild, that's where again, whippersnappers is a term I haven't heard in a decade. Thank you for bringing that back. I love it.
Whippersnappers is crazy though.
If you were to. You had to lock in one hero for 8 hours straight. Who is it? And if you could banish one hero from the roster, who would it be?
I'm banishing Wolverine no matter what. Don't care. I don't think I have anything else to be said.
Answer. I knew it.
If I'm locking one hero for 8 hours,
Black Panther is what I'd
stay
say.
The most sane on Strange, but I'd have the most fun on Captain America. So I'm gonna lock it in. I'm going Captain America.
I like it.
All right. So going back to our predictions, man, if there was one team, because the way that you highlighted Ego Death, it gave me thought. If there was one team that would cause an entire upset here, and you would want them to sit in the grand finals right now, what team would it be?
I like Ego Death a lot. I don't know if I could even pretend I could see them going all that far because there's just so many good teams. I would love to see. I think I'd love to see Sentinels go all the way to the finals. I think I'm maybe a bit biased in that department, but I think that would be a fun one. Or honestly, I would love to see at some point a rematch of FlyQuest and 100 Thieves. I just like seeing good matches, and I think that's probably the best potential. And then also I think one of these guys is gonna get really good really soon, because I don't know who's gonna beat Virtus Pro over from the EU side. They just look unbeatable. So they gotta start really getting it together over here.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I mean, that's what LAN's gonna bring, right? We can finally see some of these top squads, and 3 make it from America. I think 2 make it from EMEA. So it'll be interesting to see, you know, the matchups between the two. I got 2 final, 1 quick answer questions here. First of all, if you could have any character coming with Season 3 in a couple weeks, but, you know, moving past Season 3, one Marvel hero that can come to the game, your choice, you get to pick the Flat Special. Who is it?
We did this to me last time, and I had to admit on broadcast that I wasn't super well versed in the universe, and I was trying to figure something out. On the fly, I just said Deadpool. I feel like I could cop out and just go with that again, but I think a Thanos season would be pretty funny, so I'm gonna change my answer to that.
Fuck a Thanos season. Hell no.
I like it. I like the Thanos, but yeah, you go around collecting all the Infinity Stones while your team's battling it out on the point or something. That could work out. Final question for you. I've heard it on stream. I gotta hear it here. You said Dr. Pepper is truly overrated. Actually, I think is the term. Is that your belief? Is that a statement from you?
Oh yeah, for sure. Dr. Pepper is. Okay. I don't know. I don't want to drink pepper. I mean, it's not actual pepper, but I don't. Spicy drinks are just not that great. I think you should have spice, and then you get rid of the spice with the drink. Just it's just not. I don't like it. I think it's.
Get this guy off my fucking screen.
Hey, you had some other hot takes today. That's another one there, with a lot of America. I like to hear it, buddy. Listen, if you guys want to hear more of those hot takes and this man co-cast alongside us, get your magic drops with him. It's a good time. Again, I've hung out there and had a good time myself. Flats, again, just fun talking to you, again, face to face. Hopefully I can do more of it here in the future.
Yeah, sounds good. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah.
Thanks, Flats.
Man. Have a good one. Good luck out there.
You too. Bye-bye.
Alrighty, guys, that was the man, the myth, the legend, Flats himself, and
let's get into the games, people.
To watch him as a fellow content creator, just been fun to, to see the content he's putting out there, tier list, see the comments. It's always just chaos out there. But Vicky, either way, we've got ourselves, as he said it, we had some hot takes, but honestly, I also think they could just be based just by how close these teams are going to be in their matchups and what we look at, as we head towards the first one.
Dude, I love listening to Flats and his opinions on things too. He's just got that cadence. Don't forget, guys, to show your support to Flats. He's definitely streaming right now. That's why I mentioned the Spider-Man. He was stalking up behind the rocket for a solid minute before he decided to attack. But I'm excited. I'm excited to dig into all the action that we're about to have here, Cozy. Let's get it started, man. Playoffs.
Playoffs.
Guys, listen, the new pick and ban system was new to a lot of people, but over all of the regions,
Jesus Christ, 383 bans on Loki.
All the heroes and their total ban amount. So Loki across
Emma Frost is valid, but Loki is kind of annoying to deal with. I can see why.
But Loki first there, Magneto, obviously a lot of those tanks that we saw early on, and as Flat said, then Luna, Punisher, and the newest Ultron. Vicky, pretty interesting on the ban side here.
Yeah, of course, the Punisher just allowing itself to have a lot more range against these flyers have been pesky in disguise. The Ultron, though, has been the cherry on top, in my opinion, too, because I remember when everyone was looking at Ultron, it was a complete write-off of, it's not going to be enough healing situation, it's going to be enough
not enough healing.
Yet when you have that power-up either with Iron Man or even just standalone in a triple support composition, it's shown just how powerful it is. But I think...
everything works in triple support. Everything works in triple support.
Towards the Torch.
Yeah, Human Torch has been everywhere, and oftentimes we saw with Nemesis, the player, the team with the better Torch, ended up getting the dubs. Again, he's just been a monster impact for just pressure, positioning, and combinations in the ults there. But looking at the bans across the game modes, again, this is now for America. You're seeing Emma at the top of this list. Loki often. You see a lot of these kind of core healing strategists leading the path.
Yeah, seeing Johnny
on
banned very frequently is genuinely surprising.
And Flat said it himself. He said if he could pick one hero to ban, it should be Wolverine.
Not that many.
The team that bans Wolverine is typically having success if they have access to him as well.
Yeah, actually, I feel like you talked to Energy specifically about going to map-specific situations where the Wolverine comes into play. Just looking at what is locked into just kind of gives you that hint. And Wolverine in itself, if you've played ranked, you understand the type of problem Wolverine is, especially when it comes to game-making opportunities. It literally leans into a win condition if you get that one huge kidnap.
And again, yes, I mean, looking into it, Energy saying it best, the game is won with picks and bans. And the picks here, the locks, the saves.
Are they?
Showing a little bit of a different story.
Well, I guess pick ban does kind of win or lose a match.
What we saw, we started to see teams also lock in whoever their best player duelist was. We've got some duelist bans that we continue to see as well. So it's going to make for an interesting story. Again, different than ladder. These teams are going to be picking for their team and then banning against their team. And so if they ban Wolverine, they can still access it themselves. If you are new and coming just for the playoffs here, But we start things off with the big one, Vicky. FlyQuest, the winners, and the 8 seed.
The winner of stage 1.
They don't want to be called underdogs, all right? They don't call them it to their face. They think they're ready for this matchup. And FlyQuest,
I don't know, man.
Victories yet. I mean, just check out the results from it. Yeah,
FlyQuest only lost to what, Ego Death?
Ego Death going 0-2 or 2-0 on this.
Oh yeah, they lost to Ego Death early and then just went on a fucking
and then on the other side, Techie getting double eliminated
streak.
by
They just
Charlotte
figured it out.
Hopefully figuring out what they need to do, because they say to everybody, they said it on our interview, don't sleep on us. Like, you're gonna remember why we have our name out here, but they have to put in the results. And FlyQuest being the first competitors that you have to deal with now in the playoffs bracket is definitely going to be a testament here.
Yeah, taking out Citadel Gaming, Dark Zero, both really good teams. You know, Shroud X does have, seem to have their number on the first couple games there. But either way, they might be seated low, but they've got the fire, the pace, and the chip on their shoulder to make things interesting and fast. And hey, FlyQuest, they were out round 1 last time. You know, maybe they're comfortable in the lower bracket. You know, who knows what we'll have to see here. I know that we've got a lot of favor for them. And again, here is their roster now. I do believe Audios will be in there instead of Light, just as we've seen in the past. Maybe it'll surprise us here on air, but we expect that going in. But Vess and my goodness, Spark Chief, some of the best Vanguards in the business. I had the privilege of talking to Energy. He backs up his team all the way, and it was our forecasters kind of duelist up.
I wish I knew more about some of the actual players on these teams, but I guess the whole point of watching playoffs is to learn them.
Bring out something completely different, very flexible, and then you and you see the comparison between FlyQuest and Techie. This is going to be basically like the battle of the Psylocks between Energy and
I never realized how long it really takes to get into a game.
And seeing how that's going to work into even the ban systems, because obviously if you have these strong Psylocks,
so I'm very much assuming a lot of the picks and bans are going to be similar with regards to what I've been seeing so far. I'm not expecting a lot of crazy changes in general composition. I mean, the game hasn't really gotten any significant. I mean, it hasn't really gotten any. It hasn't gotten any specific buffs or nerfs to anything. So I would assume the compositions aren't going to change much unless people have just been theory crafting and somehow have some like entirely new shit they're gonna do.
Being diverse, and they definitely showed it.
Yeah, you talk about some crazy matchups.
Lots of Human Torch.
Gonna be also interesting, right? You talk about the possible big plays of
Who else was I saying? A lot of Wolverine.
That you have coming out on the Hulk. It's gonna be a great time because this also brings two teams together that get to play into their strength that other teams aren't leaning into what is different, more so leaning into what is safe.
What else?
Well, guys, it all starts here right now, and again, we are in the new build. So Moon Knight, he might make an appearance. Thor, the new and improved Thor. We've got team ups that have been nerfed.
Oh, they did actually do some. Well, none of the really like insane balance changes. All right, protects the Magneto, bans. So both teams are going to be playing Magneto. Both teams ban out Emma. So Loki ban.
In full play as the double protection on the Magneto. It's what we're gonna first see for
both teams ban.
Yeah, FlyQuest right away.
Johnny's banned on both teams. Wow, a Psylocke ban is big.
These teams are locked in, and look at that, the respect, the tip of the cap to Tap. Gonna be curious if this goes back, because if Tap doesn't have Psylocke, but Energy does, that's gonna be nice for them. Energy also could be playing Wolverine, so we might see that. Human Torch elected to not be there. So just looking at
what are they gonna protect? I'd be very surprised to see an Ultron protect. Really?
Now looking on the other side here, at least working for.
Okay, what are they gonna ban?
Third ban, the triple ban, back to back here. That red team usually has, and it looks like.
Damn, Psylocke. Wow.
No Psylocke from either side. So you know.
So what are they gonna protect? If they protect Ultron, this is just gonna be a mirror match. Oh, okay. Protects the Punisher, but. They could.
Honestly, the Punisher gonna get banned because I know after Psylocke, Tap plays Punisher and
bans the Storm. Okay.
Avery though leans on the Flyers. There's now no.
So it's potentially.
Storm, great strategic banning. One thing that
but they didn't ban out Loki.
Luna's available. They can go with Luna. You see a lot of strategists being banned. Not this time around. They kind of have their pick outside of Loki there on the side of FlyQuest.
Okay, so having the
wow. Okay.
To play.
Yep, there's the Wolverine pick. Totally expected.
Any sort of dive shenanigans as well here too, but looking like we get to lean onto that Wolverine.
So there's only one. What is that? Yep, 3 support.
Has been able to come out not only on the Wolverine.
So it's a 3 support comp versus anti-flyers. I mean, the only character I really saw that stuck out for Techie's comp would have been Punisher. Because it's not really a dive comp traditionally, at least.
We may not have any Black Panther now, but I can guarantee we will have some later for you if that's what you're looking for. As we have the flyover of this gorgeous Marvel location, home of the Vibranium. And
Burnin'.
I saw teams lock in already. We've got the Cap on the side of Blur, and we have the good old Wolverine energy and Vest.
Oh, that's so cool.
Exactly what worked for them in group stage.
Let's get this started here.
Whoa.
Trying to kick off our playoffs.
Is that the Rocket
first match?
Penny team up? No, it's not. Okay.
And let's not forget, you guys get to submit your own votes. Which team
Oh,
will
you can do that and then just wow! I never even thought about that.
Try to see whether you agree with us here.
And then just keep the bonus HP.
Huge lead versus the Techie expectations.
Yeah, the house odds like to fly here 87%. This would be quite the bracket breaker.
Running into Wolverine immediately is not fun.
Kicking things off here, trying to get himself a little bit of action in the back line, but the team is left somewhat alone as both teams aren't really even on the point with 5 seconds left to go, and energy now going into it with the other.
That's gonna be easy.
The high ground.
What the hell did I just see?
Before diving into protection too, coming in from the Hulk that we mentioned from Spark.
What the hell just happened there? Was that? It looked like a double jump. I've never seen that.
Closing in the gap here.
Yeah, Cooper picking up where he left off with that freeze there on Brute right away. Mr. Magneto in this first fight's going to be tough here. Spark Chief just going crazy on the Gamma God that we've seen in Hulk. But Tap electing to play Hella from the flank angle. I like that. Energy's gonna
Yeah, so it's really just an anti-flyer comp versus like a pseudo dive comp, because that's what Wolverine, Hulk.
Yeah, imagine being on the Dios right here on the Ultron, and you're looking at Tap being on the Hella, and then Avery being on the Punisher.
No one's captured. No, never mind. FlyQuest has captured point.
Try to deal with you, but luckily on this round, though, you have
Wolverine's not
also
getting
work
too many
off of
picks like he
Avery
needs to be
on
getting.
the extermination, though, is gonna be able to bring him right back down.
Ooh, should shoot him out the sky. Nice. The anti-flyer is working, but the Hulk is countering it a bit. Wow, Punisher ultimate already? Jesus Christ. I did not realize how strong Punisher's ultimate was, even through the Luna Snow ultimate.
Adios getting that. Oh, nope. We're going to have the port on the point. Instead, we're going right to Namor. This is what they ran.
Yeah, we got to use that, the Gamma Charged Squid.
The King of the Sea can do his part with those Gamma Squids. Vest now trying to get an opening here and get some poke damage.
You know, I'm not fully expecting any...
Now, it looks like this team is feeling...
I'm surprised that that's a good idea, though, because there's not really much of a dive composition. A lot of the characters on the opposite team can just shoot down the Gamma Squids.
Gamma Squid specifically, so this is not unfamiliar territory here, as you're going to be able to try to recontest. The Meteor is online as well as Energy. About to have
Probably just needs that to survive.
Ultimate, but Tap first activates the Goddess of Death, while Vez now from the skies tries to send the Meteor in the back line, not finding the Loki, as the lamps also come up from both angles.
Yeah, the lamps will protect them automatically.
We can now see some of the players kind of home face cams there on what they do. Energy, we're seeing what he looks like when he's playing.
These face cams in the corner are hilarious, because some of these guys are just in absolute darkness in their rooms. Alright, healer ult for healer ult for another healer ult. Okay, so then the Punisher might actually get the kill, though. Good kill on the Wolverine. I guess with the Wolverine, sorry.
Almost got the clip off the map, off to the very side here before getting that finishing blow onto Tap. Brute with the slight stun here before Adios sends out the Namor ult. Meteor now.
I don't know if it's the game that is extremely confusingly followed, or if it is the way that casting itself is presented. I'm surprised Techie actually took this whole round. Nice. Yeah, the Punisher ultimates have been basically carrying these fights. Honestly, just melting through a good chunk of the healing ultimates.
Yeah, wow. I mean, color me surprised, but also in the interview, I think it was Blur.
Yeah. 12,000 damage. 8-0, didn't even die once.
Right
actually, I mean, at least with the way that most of the
And if you consider it right here too, that was exactly what
Most of the way that combat is going is just extremely elongated team fights, and then ultimates that are basically pushing through and shifting the entire momentum. And what it really seems like is that the Punisher ultimate's really the only thing that's pushing through most of the momentum for these team fights.
Just didn't get enough there from that one, so we are gonna have a switch up. It's gonna be going, and switching as energy is gonna be going to Namor as Bast and Black Panther gaze upon us here as we enter the map. And looking at it, we have Audios back on Ultron.
We get to see the flexibility coming out from Techie. It's not about the flyers here from Avery. It's about being utilized here on the.
I mean, the turret play is just obvious here. Just cause massive amounts of damage.
Pillars here too, and that's gonna also allow Audios to try to dance and stall just a little bit in the back lines here before having to force.
No one's really gonna get through this choke until the walls come up down in the corner here.
If you're FlyQuest, you know right now
Yep.
who is the person doing the job, and that is Avery on Punisher. You got to make sure that you can track him and get him eliminated, making Audios' time just rough out there against, you know, both Hella and both hit scans. That's gonna be a tough job. As Sparksheep does get the elimination, does get the pressure.
Does he get the kill with that ultimate? He does. Wow, big ultimates.
They get the triple to open up this point.
I mean, the old man in the sea gave me a little taste of that as they found themselves drowning on that boat before backing away. This is still trying to harass Cooper.
Is this man just playing in pitch black in his room?
That's Luna ultimate, but at least they get the reflect here. They get the toss up on that point. It did take them a little bit, like we saw from that first round.
Yeah, I like the switch up over there to Namor. That's going to be clean as we've got now a few ults online for Flaw.
Definitely gonna push through. Okay, so I think he pushes through and pops that Punisher ultimate. Does he? What's happening? Nothing? Wow. So a Captain America ult for the Luna Snow ultimate? But then again, actually the Magneto ultimate is still up, so if he pops that ultimate to try and... Yep, that. Well, actually, no, never mind, that's the wrong team. No kill with that, that's fine, though. Pushes them through. Now we pop the rest of those. The lamps should save all of them, yep. Ugh. He might get... No, just... Oh, he does kill him with it! Oh, wow! No, that's a huge Namor ult. That basically saves them that round. He's got... Yep.
That was Techie utilizing everything basically that had minus Woofles and their own fate of both.
How do you shut the game up on the live? Open broadcasting software, OBS. Trying to start a live like this? My bad. It's not even OBS. Download TikTok Live Studio. There's an app on desktop that you need. TikTok Live Studio.
85% in favor for FlyQuest right now on the then you have to worry currently about the no more energy in position with those squids, while the rest of FlyQuest continuously press in front of
Can't hear me. You should be able to. Oh, that's why. That's not supposed to be causing any issues. Of course, that's working now. TikTok Live Studio. You need a TikTok Live Studio. It should basically give you...
Trying to jump away back into Cooper's line of sight. Vez turns around, he sends out the meteor, he does boot out currently over to the other side, just trying to help out Spark as he was falling incredibly low. Now Tap also just gets deleted, has him to just disengage on the Goddess of Death, and another Moby Dick, but Avery, no CC here when you're on the Punisher using that final judgment.
Yeah, nice hiding, a little hide and seek here from Avery and the Punisher, and he found all the strategies connected with Spark's favorite. Vest does trade with Tap there to make things a bit more equal as the grand finale comes out from Ad there. The Loki copy that's going to give them all the pressure and sustain that they need.
Okay, that's one thing.
For FlyQuest here, Spark Chief trying to get the most of what he can put out with the Hulk here. Root now trading with energy, and at this point, momentum going back.
Okay, I mean that should be working now, but either way, that's so weird that my computer's still doing this. I'll literally probably just have to uninstall and reinstall that shit, but it's fine. TikTok Live Studio. Go online, Google TikTok Live Studio, download it, and then start playing with it to figure it out.
If you don't get the point, but they capitalized every receiver in the end zone. They scored multiple touchdowns, getting that point up now to 50%.
See though if they can take it all the way home though, Blur.
Appreciate it, no problem. It is very easy to use.
Who has a Fate of both worlds going into this next fight? Another whale coming to the side. Blur this time. They continuously are targeting out energy.
And not in splash zone of those whales at all. They barely escaped them, but unfortunately Energy unable to connect on them as the team is just cleaning up right now. Avery punishing heavily. Adios just has not been able to get much going with both of those hit scans.
Whatever.
And Avery just popping off. We've seen so much great Punisher play. One of the most banned heroes in this tournament, showcasing why Frank Castle is an absolute unit.
Whatever, man.
And
Voice
that's why
meter
you're
is
seeing
fucking
the change too from Energy. He swapped off that Namor. He has gone over to the Wolverine. This is almost a 0 to 100 situation now in favor for Techie, and they have all the ultimates basically ready to go.
Yeah, as long as you have a desktop and you Google TikTok Live Studio, it's pretty self-explanatory how a lot of it works. It's pretty similar to OBS if you know how OBS works. If you don't know how OBS works, it's just a bunch of inputs to get all of the stuff from different parts of your computer into the platform. So there's a camera here, there's the microphone in front of me, there's like my actual desktop and all the other stuff in front of me. So the game itself, there's too many ultimates going on. Nobody's gonna survive this, or nobody's gonna die in this. Damn, is that holy shit? I appreciate the 179 roses. Thank you. All of this is basically just like it. There's 100 YouTube videos you can find to teach you how to set up a stream, but TikTok Live Studio is the app.
We've got the 8 seed over the 1 seed. FlyQuest only dropping 4 maps in its
Computer.
throughout the entire run.
Let me see. So did Techie win the entire? Yeah, they did. Wow. Techie taking a game from FlyQuest is crazy. I appreciate the 41 roses. Thank you. Yeah, so I appreciate the help. Absolutely. I would argue, and this is just from my personal perspective, getting started streaming is not the hard part. Getting or continuing and like being consistent is the hard part. And like building whatever you know, whatever you want your stream to look like is the hard part. But don't be a perfectionist. Start somewhere. It'll all, you know, grow and turn into whatever you want it to be. Oh, it's the lift there. I was like, how did he do that? It'll grow and turn into whatever you want it to be over time. So.
But it was just the way that Techie was ready with the retaliation. That biggest indicator, even after making the comeback, after losing out on that second round, initially for that first fight, we saw FlyQuest get to what, like 80% or so at that point, 90 plus, and then that complete reversal from Techie. Brute waiting out to see if we were going to see Bez's Magneto shield.
Okay, now we're good.
Once that was used up already, then they were able to retaliate, utilize their own. They were able to use all a game of cat and mouse for them to retaliate on based on reaction.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it just felt like
you can also technically stream to TikTok using OBS. It's just a little bit harder and weirder to set up. There's a whole bunch of other things that go on.
And Avery definitely was, again, that exclamation point on all that. Insanity there with 11 final hits and 30k damage. That'll get the job done.
What happens when Punisher
to dictate whether you should use OBS or TikTok Live Studio.
As well as the Loki too, because the Loki really did provide that extra support. We saw the copy into the Fate of Both.
Yeah, Techie taking the first game. Well, maybe FlyQuest is like a warm-up kind of team. Maybe they just need to like start slow and kind of figure out what their, you know, their quote-unquote issues with the team are. Or maybe they just don't really know what the counters are. I don't know. That was an interesting game to watch because I'm very surprised that they lost to FlyQuest. Or Techie lost. FlyQuest lost to Techie.
And guys, no one expected it. 80% didn't. Flats called a lot of upsets, but this was not one of them.
This is not one of them.
We have potentially the next match that can send FlyQuest back to their home in the lower bracket. We'll take a quick break.
Yeah, I mean, they did run the entire lower. No, yeah, they did, but they ran the lower bracket because 100 Thieves and Sentinels came out through the top of the brackets. And then FlyQuest came through the entire lower bracket and beat 100 Thieves. Executioner. Let me check something again really quickly. It's the voice mod output that's not working. Let me see if I can find where that is. Defaults didn't do anything. Sound. I guarantee it's just gonna end up being I gotta reinstall the whole thing, and I hate having to do that because it gets very irritating. Because there's literally no explanation for why it broke in the first place. Fuck it, whatever. I'll reinstall it later. I do love this theme song. Very, very cute. So all of these are best of threes, which means Techie can just win 2 and be done with it. I didn't even realize that, because the best of 5s don't start until loser finals and then grand finals. Because winners finals are just best of 3 also, I believe. This really is when I'm supposed to like stand up and walk around and do like jumping jacks, get a water break, all that shit. Which is actually what I'm gonna go fucking do. I'm gonna go pro one day, guys, I promise. One day I won't be a viewer, I'll be in there also. So cap.
What's going on, guys, and welcome back.
Hey, how you doing?
They're cooking, and right now the kitchen is closed for FlyQuest as we look at match 1 and the upset. I mean, the bracket breaker could already be here, and the playoff.
Like the bracket breaker being immediate would be insane.
Blown away right away, Vicky. I saw a lot of things that could have led to that for FlyQuest. Spark Chief, I want a better game out of him. You know, listen, maybe he plays better when he's, you know, staring up at the ceiling in defeat. That's what we, you know, saw last in the group stage. What did you
staring at the ceiling in defeat? What the fuck did you just say?
Between Avery and Tap, which is, I think, really important to highlight that flux through, basically flex through these different heroes. We saw Tap on the Punisher at one point. We had Avery as this flyer duelist, yet here we are with Avery popping off with like more than double the amount of damage than the other opposing team. Looking at FlyQuest, literally just flying themselves into map number 2 just as quickly as a speed run, because that was crazy. Like, I think it just highlights the flexibility and the homework that has gone into this Techie team.
Yeah, and if you look at the pick and bans, I actually gave the favor to FlyQuest. I think they got what they wanted out of there, but also I think Techie was ready for that. And then, yeah, we saw the flip of the duelist and the abilities that we've seen these teams get adjusted to. But listen, we've got so much heading this direction. It's must-watch television here. And while you guys are watching, you can earn yourself a Magic skin for Rivals with Twitch drops exclusive to the Ignite tournament and those that are co-casting as well. And just, you know, you can rock this sick. I love
Damn it.
all the games they did so far. I'm hoping they have one for each and every one. You get to, you know, get a little emote nameplate spray, Vicky.
I love this. I already collected my Will of Gallica Magic skin, so just by watching the tournament, it just takes roughly like 6 hours or so to collect every item, including this new skin, and you have all the way up until July 16th.
Yeah, this is good stuff, guys. So collect it while you can.
Good soup.
Get yourself a Magic skin. Hopefully, season 3 Hornets maybe should get some buffs. We'll have to see. But yeah, looking at it with FlyQuest, you know, I interviewed Energy this week. Plays, and there's always somebody that kind of really almost carried or just went all out, all gas, no brakes, whether it was Energy or Vest with those.
Yarami.
We didn't really see any of those wow moments from Energy and the rest of FlyQuest this time around. You know, so I think it's the ultimate battles that came down to it, and it depends.
It's literally just the ultimate.
Maybe just a little bit of that winners rust. I don't know if you could say that, but we'll have to see.
I feel like just the way that we're currently seeing Energy play, Energy was not allowed to play that game, honestly. Like, domination, I feel like in the earlier rounds of what we've seen from FlyQuest during the group stages, they've fallen against Solaris in map number 1. We saw them fall against map number 1, which is kind of
Like, the more
from what we're seeing right here. Leaning into those
the more that I watch and even play Marvel Rivals myself, the more that I realize it is purely dominated by better ultimate usage. Like, that is the only thing that drives how the games go. Like, there's not enough impact driving normal team fights to make me believe that just general good play equals the better team. Like, it's literally just better ultimate usage, which I guess technically is better individual play. But it shouldn't come down to pressing one button at the right time versus the entirety of every character's kit. Like, I don't know if that made sense whatsoever.
And then you get to really try to focus down on trying to take away those strengths away from FlyQuest.
Yeah, I want to see now if they're going to be banning Punisher instead of Psylocke.
Yeah.
I think they're going to also go for the Psylocke.
You should definitely do the Punisher ban. If you're planning on doing a flyer, I mean, Punisher, well, the Hela I don't think was that impactful. It was definitely the Punisher.
The Punisher, and that's going to force Tap to go back on to Psylocke, and then
Right, because they banned the Psylocke out the first round.
Probably shifting to Storm.
The Psylocke and the Human Torch.
That final man's about to be here.
Which means it should be probably playable for
The next safe pick is going to be looking at
Techie.
FlyQuest. Believe we did see the Magneto and the
Doesn't necessarily mean it's a good pick, but it's playable.
Nothing done comparatively to the fact that you have to deal with the Hela and the Punisher, and there's that safety pick that you were mentioning, Cozy, probably leaning more into that Psylocke.
Yeah, we saw Energy really
Okay.
against Envy. Even when they struggled a little bit on the first bit of the map, Energy on that Psylocke, they were able to just go crazy. And I'm expecting the Psylocke save for Tap. Energy wants that one.
So they can ban something and then protect.
He respects Psylocke as one of the best, but this is our
Banning out the Luna Snow, I like that.
funny enough, in Ignite for
I feel like they're going to protect the Psylocke also.
here in the playoffs, Vicky, as Luna is now the ban.
That's what I love about this advanced tournament ban and save system, because then you get to play into your strength. This is what highlights flexibilities. This is what makes different compositions coming out straight up for the Ignite tournament, saving the Luna.
What are we thinking? Yep.
Luna. It's gonna be big.
I was right.
Yes, they get to put the save on the Psylocke. We get to have the Tap v Energy Psylocke 1v1.
So Psylocke versus Psylocke.
Psylocke v Psylocke, that is going to be just entertainment, as we've seen Tap again, just one of the craziest, just the dance of the butterfly. Psylocke's ult just executed to perfection there, and it looks like for the last ban there, think about, yeah, Captain America, we did see this often here. I believe it was Groot that played a mean Cap, so going to be interested to see.
So what are we looking at?
Especially on this map.
We've also seen
3 support again.
lean into a pretty strong Magneto too. Wonder if this is going to be
Wow, 3 support, 3 tank?
out with here
Huh.
specifically, but
I don't think I've ever seen any comps played that way.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Cozy. Wasn't there a game where we saw Tap go 30-0 in the group stage? So that's just crazy to see the amount of pressure.
So they protected the Psylocke, but they're not picking it. FlyQuest.
Yeah, when you look at all the duelists in the
It's actually surprising.
really just put up insane flashy numbers, and honestly, I don't want to say carrying a hero shooter, but just does a lot of heavy lifting. We look at Self and Ego Death. We look at Tap for sure in this team. Absolute great. And then that opens up the skies for Avery, which is also going to obviously help everything out as well. As we go to Yggdrasil's path, I'm telling you guys, I don't know who gave Techie the script. They look rehearsed, though. They look ready to go for this potential elimination to the lower bracket for FlyQuest.
I see you guys in the chat changing up some of your votes. I saw a lot of that, 80 plus in favor of FlyQuest after that first game alone. You can only imagine the Techie fans, they be feasting.
So this would be the first time I've seen a 3-tank, 3-support comp, like 0 DPS.
To proceed on to this winner's side of the bracket.
Here we go at Yggdrasil.
Immediately goes to Tap. People want to see the Psylocke play.
Trying to get early poke damage from up above, expect him to take these side corridors and maybe go behind for the back line, try to make it a quick assassination there as everyone else is pushing through the front. That's going to allow Tap to get some space there.
Oh, he's going to get the Eltron kill. Yep.
Sparkchief, and wow, what an
Oh, that's big.
get things started with Brute at the helm for a triple.
With the 3K here, Blur to then follow
Well.
the nail in the coffin to then get the 2K, winning another dominating fight. This is what you like to see.
The Psylocke's a big pick, man.
Straight momentum after that high win in that first game.
Just putting the pedal down and driving right through expectations. You love to see it as they do have a portal unlock ready to get the team fight right away. Best now flexing over to that group, getting those good close of walls to separate that space early and often for them. Avery in disguise, as we saw Omega Hurricane nerfed a little bit in this path, but still put plenty of pressure.
So FlyQuest also switches to the Psylocke.
Energy needs to get locked in right now and get those picks to keep this team going.
This takes just a little bit of time, but currently both worlds activated.
Ult for ult right now.
In that distance, this forces out the invisible boundary now from Cooper, and here comes that Omega Hurricane. It took just enough time, but stalling it out second right after that invisible boundary allows them to find Zelos. The strangling prison though keeps Avery floating in the air.
We're going ult for ult. Big kill.
Found its mark, but the finishing blow to Cooper when the rest of your team is dismantled allows Techie to win another team fight.
Yeah, man. Tap is really just getting to these strategists in the back line, bro.
1% away. That is a brutal elimination and perfect timing for that Hurricane and close-in of the team. Perfect communications right now for Techie. That off week really gave them everything they needed to change strats, comms, and composure as they headed to the second point. But it looks like potentially FlyQuest, yeah, they're going to be
Don't know about that one.
Well, this is a great re-engage from FlyQuest, but they noticed that Woofles had used a bit of both worlds really late in that previous fight. Really unnecessary to pull the trigger right there. So they wanted to try to re-engage right afterwards. But Blur also having the Eye of Agamotto, just trying to put in the pressure. FlyQuest just completely moved back in with energy, opening things up for the Dancing Butterflies.
And there it is, Energy getting that big pick on Blur, and yes, they still have the Agamotto ready, with Blur using theirs right to beat.
I never realized how strong the Psylocke still is.
But as far stretches as the next man up to get it here, Sparkchief though trying to hold that front ground, and that was huge for momentum. 3 team fights in what looked like a full domination there from Techie. That is a big win there for FlyQuest.
That was all open.
I really got to get more practice with the Psylocke, man.
Specifically from Zealous, after Zealous came down pretty early in the engagement of the last fight, jumping in.
Big ult. Got to kill Storm at least. Yep.
Looking up to the skies, forcing part to back away, put up that Doctor Strange shield, helping them out, and they still were able to get Avery in the process.
That's 3 healing ultimates.
Got now both the extermination and we have the invisible boundary going off at once. Wolfos are now going in.
Big Psylocke ult. I don't think it'll kill anyone. Damage is too spread out. Oh, he does get the kill.
But it's not going to be enough as Ad and Tap close in. Zealous falls with Sparkchief.
I'm always proven wrong.
In terms of the Agamotto, we're going to go into now Venom for Sparkchief, trying to maybe poke.
Ad is having way too much fun. He obviously got the freeze too on Dead before backing away, and then now trying to.
I'm surprised at that Storm ult though.
First checkpoint here for Techie. They're going to move up, and they have 2 ultimates here to work with between Woofles and Blur.
Yeah, and so far,
Playing the Venom.
extremely dangerous.
I'm actually surprised. I don't see this too often.
I would like to see those land a bit
Not since the Spider-Man team up was gone.
Cleaning up some of those ults at the end of the fights would probably be the only thing Techie needs to adjust. Other than that, keep rocking and rolling. Play loose, have fun. We're seeing it right now with Blur ready to rock the Agamotto, the team fight where right now Zealous is going to have to nail this. Cooper getting close to that invisible boundary.
some more of his poke pressure too, with Spark now being on the Venom before dropping down and swinging right back away to the safety of his team. The Extermination now just trying to keep Tap in that corner before dashing away to the safety of the rest of their team. They've used up this Extermination.
Healing ult for ult.
Butterflies is also up here for Tap. As Blur now comes in with the Eye of Agamotto here, gets blocked out. Vez now being able to retaliate, moves up to try to get the Agamotto themselves.
Oh, wow. That's a great ultimate. I thought Techie was still in their ultimates. Yeah, Loki's carrying, man.
Yeah, what is it, like 24 seconds of immortality if you cycle through both Loki and Luna in that timely fashion, just waiting for one to end versus the other? It's crazy. It's a huge stall opportunity here too, just to help recollect some energy, though gets caught with the Sun Tap alongside them. They jump energy. No safety as Sparky tries to help and peel.
Yeah, that's a huge pick early. Again, we saw this with against Envy when FlyQuest went against them on this map here, as we've got the internal bond going in, closing in. Addo with the response. Avery and the Whale going out with the damage boost. Cooper getting the elimination, but Avery closing and finishing off the job with the trades, looking close. But honestly, this is going in favor of Techie as Tap finishes off the job with the sword two-piece.
Wait, and the Ditto just clap back here too from Techie. They go over to the Hulk and the Namor to try to counter that of Energy, who's already having a hard time with a slight stagger.
Yeah, we've heard a lot about the Hulk there for Sparky. Blur says, watch what I can do with the Gamma, as one is Hulk smashing, the other is Hulk spectating, as now they're pushing into this cavern here, trying to get that pressure, not letting FlyQuest get in, but that portal comes out, and the team trying to contest. They need to win this one if they want to keep momentum. 28 seconds, so Vicky, not a lot of time.
No, but at least it's enough time here to just re-engage with these ultimates. If you're FlyQuest holding back Techie, Blur now going to get booted off of that Hulk, going to be turning into Bruce Banners as Cooper sends him back to the spawn. They've re-engaged. Techie are forced to just try to peel away, and looking behind them though, their entry is just cut off by Spark, who manages to fly away. Now this is the moment now, less than 5 seconds.
That's a huge ultimate. That should be round. That should definitely be round. They might be able to hold for like a split second, but no one else should get back fast enough to even like continue this round. The Hulk ultimate. Okay, yep, there it is. Okay.
It's the calm and collected faces.
Now can they do a solid push?
They're holding on the way that they're able to cycle through. They just knew in that moment that they were able to push them off.
Did you see Energy's face cam pop up there? He looks so unfazed. Like if a meteor hit his house, it looks like he just wouldn't move. I mean, the guy looks composed and is probably definitely proud of how the team turned it around. It is tough against, again, Loki, Luna, with what you have. And with FlyQuest not even looking like the team we've seen in group stage, I'm impressed that they were able to get that stuff.
I'm also really impressed to see the way that Techie has tried to isolate Energy. When you get to figure out and pinpoint the biggest issue that is going to be the wall for your team, they've been able to communicate.
Yeah, the 3 tank or the 3
and even with that, FlyQuest was able to prevent Techie from getting to that second checkpoint.
3 Vanguard, 3 strategy was not. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't working. They weren't getting enough damage out.
The approach that they're going with there, but it does seem like they're kind of all gas, no brakes, and honestly, they're just not even. They're not worried. I think Avery definitely hope to see a bit better Omega Hurricanes there, but as a whole, the team has it in lock. Now Avery 14K, not bad though on the damage front. Energy playing a much better game as well.
Talk about ultimate. We see that sometimes too with Wolfos, just with the fate of both worlds being utilized either too late or a little too early, just to try to start more of these aggressive engagements here. See how they're going to be able to cycle through this with FlyQuest now be on the attack instead with a fastball special, just trying to yeet Energy in the direction of trying to get a kidnap.
Yeah, we got a portal opening as well. That's going to be the turret seen most likely. And look at
Like these kidnaps are just so funny to watch every time, bro.
in the air, Peter Pan, you can fly.
Got him. That's round already. And then you switch off the Wolverine. That's so interesting. They'll usually just pop out with a pick to get something interesting running immediately, and then switch right after if it doesn't work, or if it does work, because now it's a 6v5, and the game continues. That's so cool.
Very heavy at the moment. They had 3 fights and contests on this point. Could be tough to match that with the point making its way firmly to the gates and opening up point 2.
Yep, FlyQuest is actually going to get through this, I think. They already started the entire push with a 5v6, and then just forcing the rest of the team back and holding them in a choke is just going to make this easy push. Oh my god, energy. You might as well save the ultimate. 3 kills without it. Nice. Force him back into Bruce. Don't kill him. Yeah, don't kill him. Then eventually kill him. Yeah, one of the things they do a lot in esports matches is they forcefully stagger. So now they're literally just stuck in a team of 5 because, you know, Bruce Banner has to wait for kill timer and then come back around. Oh, I'm so surprised he didn't die there. Ult for ult. I don't know which is worth more. Yeah, the Hulk is just going to be annoying in the back line here. That's what, 3 ultimates? Ooh, the Hulk does get 2 kills. So Techie will fight back, actually. I'm just saying the exact stuff they say.
Yeah, the strategies were in shambles in that case here. They're the first 2 to go out in that fight. This allows Techie to get a lot more aggressive into
still about 3.5 minutes though, so.
Without question here, both teams now trying to get things going. Reset up, Smart Chief going back over to Venom. Worked really well in that first point against them. That's going to allow some mass pressure there. Energy, Dance of the Butterflies. He's going to look for that triple piece to open things up just like point 1. But this time, that'll make the series tied if he can pull it off. Avery, though, getting some nice farm of poke damage with those Tritons.
But 3.5 minutes for like a corner is very oof. And they lost the Namor Techie. But then evens the numbers out by killing the Psylocke with tap. That's a huge ultimate. That's got to be it. That might kill someone, but nope, not. Nope, that's got to be around right there. All right, okay. Good job fighting back, FlyQuest. They're playing through the portal, which will let them hold it slightly longer. Wow, never mind. The stagger got fixed pretty fast because of the strange portal. Now, it does look like Techie is like throwing out literally all of their ultimates to just hold this last. Yeah. The ultimates are finally falling apart. Yep. There's only 2 people left. That's 1. And that's round. Wow. FlyQuest actually with a very big comeback on that round. So it's not just a, it's not a sweep. It's not a sweep. Which means we go to the Convergence. Which I would assume is either Spider-Man 2099. It's probably Spider-Man 2099. No, that's not 2099. That's not a Convergence map. Clintar. It's probably going to be Clintar.
I'm telling you, watching these face scans crack me up. Energy just looks like he's not face at all, playing the best Psylocke that I've seen.
How many different Convergence maps are there? There's Clintar.
But looking at the final stats, Vicky, Energy, you can see 17 that we expect with those 11
Central,
I think especially really kind of rose up
Central Park?
doing the better part on this map.
And I'm not surprised too because I feel like when you see FlyQuest go Giga Drill, like this is a
Yeah, Central Park. The Squirrel Girl map. That's also Convergence.
They wanted to get jobless bums, and this was also the map that started that momentum.
My money's on Clintar though. No, my money's on Central Park. I think Clintar was one of the last maps in playoffs before, which I guess has no influence. You know, they randomize these. So.
And it felt like kind of Techie and Fly swap places in terms of ultimate usage and lineups. We saw them do it to perfection, Techie on domination, and that time it just felt like these ultimates ults were kind of going out sporadically.
Whoa.
A little bit with FlyQuest at the beginning there too. Energy a couple ults he wants back. But
Yeah, this ultimate was huge.
Time after time, when the man needs to step up, he does, and the team follows with him. A fantastic job.
And I'm wondering if that goes with the triple strategy.
What are we doing? Now, is that my computer? Yeah, it has to be. Maybe I need to just check Twitch and use the Twitch stream.
31k healing here too, and that's with energy having to make a.
I mean, either way, that doesn't make sense because I got fucking optimal ass internet.
Yeah, that's actually a great highlight there. Looking at strategists from both teams. Obviously, you know, Luna Loki, that's the favor in terms of the meta picks. But man, the damage spread between the three of them and healing all of them 23k, 15k.
Okay, but why is this blasting my CPU though?
That is a lot to go up against. I think they did the perfect job. Cooper-tastic once again taking that MVP, man, is just collecting them at this point. 31k healing. Absolutely insane there with Sue. So looking towards this next matchup right now, Techie gets to pick
15-4 and 18, solid.
Final mode there. I think the pick bans, they went fine. Obviously Avery and what they did with
Yeah, I'm still seeing the Human Torch ban, which really means I'd be very surprised to assume that I'm gonna get any type of Human Torch gameplay before the end of
They made it work with the triple strategist here, so that again further highlighting the flexibility on having to navigate.
I mean, day one is the best way to put it. Yeah, I'd be surprised if I get any Human Torch before the end of day one.
And guys, let me highlight this. Group stage was something, right? That was to get the seeding, okay? Maybe make a little bit of a name for yourself. This is now for LAN. The pressure is to the maximum. You can only lose twice. One of them coming right here, right now for one of these teams. I mean, this is as high stakes as you get. Forget, you know, just making your legacy. But
where is LAN gonna be? I'm so curious. I feel like it's gonna be in like China. Let me check.
We've got a great match.
I'd be surprised if it wasn't actually.
Don't go anywhere. We're gonna take a quick break.
Considering it's like a global of Rivals Ignite schedule. 4.5 minutes. So where is LAN gonna be? This is the Americas schedule, stage 1. We're in the stage 1 playoffs. Okay, let me see if I can get the entire schedule. 5 regions. Grand finals is in November. Where is it in November? Maybe they haven't even decided yet, and I'm just like looking up information that's like not available because it hasn't been decided. Okay, stage 1 open finals. Yep, open qualifier, sure. Who was Unk talking to? Videos actually had me in tears. Man. I'm getting bullied on the internet. It's just getting worse and worse for me, man. What's up, Jose? How you doing? We watching esports? Yes. This is the what's it called? This is the Marvel Rivals Stage 1 playoffs. So FlyQuest won the end of Stage 1. So the Stage 1 qualifiers, I guess is what they were called. Whatever. Now we're... No, my bad. This is Stage 2, technically. Right? Stage 2? Yeah, this is technically Stage 2, which is playoffs. So there's 8 teams: FlyQuest, Techie, Sentinels, Envy, 100 Thieves, Shroud, X, Nemesis, and Ego Death. We're at game 3 of FlyQuest versus Techie. Each game is best of 3. Only heard of Shroud and Sentinels? You're lying if you've never heard of 100 Thieves. You're a liar, bro. You, right there in the camera, you. I'm talking to you. You're a liar. Say I won't go pro? I would love for you to go pro. That's how we gonna get rich, bro. Go pro. I can coach you. You're probably already better than me at Marvel Rivals. I'm talking about coach. Like you're probably already better than I am. Do you even play Marvel Rivals? What are you playing right now, man? I'm high rank in Overwatch. We don't talk about Overwatch in this room. Don't piss me off. Space Station Gaming just hit me up for real. How many esports is Space Station still in? I feel like the only thing left is Siege. They might be in CSGO and I just don't remember. Space Station Gaming. Teams. Rocket League. Okay. Oh, Overwatch 2, of course. That's why you said Space Station. Halo Infinite? I didn't even know. Well, of course I knew Halo Infinite still had a Central Park. I was right. It was either Central Park. Well, I mean, there's only like 3 convergence maps. There's only a couple options. Yep, the Emma Frost ban every time. I think you could go pro, bro. I believe in you. I don't know what game you're going pro in, but you know, as long as it's not Overwatch. If it's not Overwatch, I'll watch you. If it is Overwatch, good luck, brother. Godspeed. I will not be watching you. I am not a fan. I am the #1 hater. I am the hater of all haters. I'm surprised that like the Magneto pick is, well, honestly, in terms of shield tanks, Magneto is probably just so much more efficient when it comes to being protective than Doctor Strange. So protecting the pick probably makes sense, because if you don't protect it early, you'll probably get banned out. I'm going to guess that the last ban's going to be Luna Snow. I can go pro with just pure Spider-Man? Yeah, GG's. Yeah, both teams are playing the Psylocke Magneto again, which I would assume we're just running a third like replay. Or a second replay, I guess, of last round. Let me see. Yep, the Loki pick's absolutely necessary. I'm expecting an Ultron pick out of Techie also. So really what they're doing is starting with the Rocket Penny team up, giving them 50 bonus HP to start the match, and then they can switch off, and then you get to keep the bonus HP, which is such a crazy thing. They probably need to fix that, but I did not know you could do that when a matches start. But that's like a coordination thing. I doubt you'll get that off in many ranked matches naturally. They should have you on caster low key. You know, one of the things I want to do is start learning how to get better at like intertwining some of their like actual ability names, because I can really tell what's going on pretty actively, but describing it based on, you know, using the correct terminology is usually where I fuck up. Because, you know, instead of saying, oh, we use the Penny and the Rocket team up, I could have been like, oh, name of ability. So what are we looking at here? We're looking at what looks like 3 support comp. That's exactly what I expected there, versus the pseudo dive comp. Like I don't know what the holy frame rate. I don't know what the description for the Wolverine Hulk team up composition really is. Plus the Psylocke, actually, I pretty much make that a dive comp. And the first one down is the Captain America on FlyQuest, which means Techie's probably taking this point. Because most times, once the team fight becomes a 5v6, your team's pretty screwed. Yep. The Invisible Woman goes down. Yeah, you guys should have just backed away. Popping the ultimate's actually surprising decision here. Sometimes you just gotta call it quits once the team fight's kind of lost and just save that ultimate for a better opportunity. Though he probably does pick that ultimate up quickly enough that you can probably just come back to it. Yeah, see, like this, the Wolverine pick is literally just walking in tandem with the Hulk. The Hulk will probably freeze someone, and then Wolverine will pop up and then carry them into a horrible scenario where they can just absolutely mollywop them together. I remember people saying Ultron was about to be a throw pick. Yeah, and people still do say that, ironically. I still play a lot of games in... Oh, well, I can say this because I don't have to troll around you. I still play a lot of games in Grandmaster where people are talking about Ultron being a bad pick. And I'm like, if you look... Hold on. Marvel Rivals GG. If I remember correctly, Ultron is A tier, but I gotta look at the actual statistics. Let me go by strategist. Ultron has a 52.37% win rate, which is the second highest after Rocket. So, by the stats, Ultron is the second best strategist in the game right now. And again, whatever personal biases people have against Ultron not being a, you know, traditional support, I don't know. But I will say most of the time in these compositions that they play in these esports teams, he is a third strategist, which ironically, again, is one of the things a lot of people recommend. But I would not dictate that it is a mandatory that you have to use him as a third strategist and not a second strategist. Because while I do fully expect the 3 strategist comp to stay as the standard until they find some sort of like massive change for how strategists operate or damage operates, it's just going to continue to stay. So we're about to get into an ultimate loop. This is kind of what happens a lot. Healer ult for healer ult, and then eventually there's another one. Yep. And then there's another one. And then you really have to have the Magneto ultimate blast somebody. Didn't even kill him. I guess that's just Wolverine ultimate or passive that saves him there. Okay, so this is where the actual team fight is dictated now that the healer ultimates are done. And I'm actually surprised. Well, actually, no, it's the healer, the Loki lamps that are keeping everyone alive. But, yep, Techie's pulling through. Yeah. So really, it's very interesting how I see a lot of the momentum shift in a lot of esports matches. There's really like a minute window where one healer pops an ult and then another healer pops an ult on the opposite team, and then the opposite healer pops another ult, and then the other one pops an ult, and you're literally just looking at a minute of healer ults going actively, and nobody can die either way, so the rest of the people on the map are just sitting around either gaining ultimate charge or trying to like pick someone out and pull them out of these ultimates. That's usually what the Wolverine's for. Otherwise, you wait till all that's over, and then the DPS ultimates really come out. Supports have so much power over the game. Yeah, and I think that's the biggest complaint of the game right now. Supports and flyers have too much power over the game. Oh, didn't even get the kill there. We should run the new indie game called Peak. I am so down. I'm literally, you want to know something funny? Right now, I'm watching streamers play Peak in my other monitor when the game is in between games. So that like 4-minute time period between games, I start watching Peak. Pun intended. I am so down. I am 1,000,000% down. There's nothing you can do in that ultimate. There's too many healer ultimates. The problem also is that like even with the counters to healing ultimates, so Magneto is very clearly the counter to, you know, the Luna Snows, the this might actually be a big ultimate. Shoot that out. Yep, gets the reset. Nothing you can do there. The Magneto is clearly the counter pick to the Luna Snows, the Cloak and Daggers, you know, the Invisible Womans. The only problem with that is that his ultimate can also be absolutely blocked by normal shields easily. So you can't, like, you can get countered simple by the counter to heal. Like, healing ultimates have counters, which is basically just like 1 minute or one-shot abilities. But one-shot abilities can also be very easily blocked by regular shields. So it's like the rock, paper, scissors just doesn't pay off. Yeah, Techie's probably going to make it to the end of point here because I'd be surprised. There's too many healing ultimates running. Okay, there's a counter ultimate. So now they'll be safe back there, but that doesn't necessarily mean they make it out this choke and do a lot of damage. Now, this ultimate has to be big. Yep, get it off the Loki clone. Cool. Okay, pop another one. Another off the Loki clone. Reset. You got to keep going with these resets. Off the Loki clone. Destroy the lamp to get the reset. Oh, got killed before you could, though. Yeah, Techie's going to take this one. All right. FlyQuest has got to make a push back, man. It looks mad fun. Also, a bit of clip opportunities. Oh, trust me. I am going to be doing the most ridiculous shit if I play Peak. When I play Peak. The game is like $8. Why would I not play it? Yeah, so at least what I'm seeing is like game defining on most of these esports games is Loki, Magneto, and probably Psylocke. Those are like the mandatory picks. At least Loki and Psylocke for these teams. My bad, Magneto and Psylocke. But again, that could just be entirely because Energy and Tap are, you know, Psylocke players. If I go into the next group of teams, it could have absolutely nothing to do with playing Psylocke. But I do recall in stage 1 playing Psylocke was also very useful. Who is actually, yep, Loki is the carry for Techie right now. And then, man, Techie did so much work last round. I also don't really recognize how maps can be either extremely defensive or offensive sided when it comes to any of these, you know, maps. You know, a lot of times I don't see teams coming out into the side entrance up here. Overwatch match have the same problem. I remember someone was telling me, I don't know who I was talking to. Someone was telling me in chat that Central Park has a huge defense-sided problem. Like, it is so hard to push into people that are up a hill because, you know, height advantage naturally applies. Good kill. Height advantage naturally applies. So in, like, Central Park where there's, like, so many points where you just kind of have to shoot up at people, it literally is just an entirely fucked scenario playing on offense when literally the defense always has a better opportunity to do damage on you. But I would argue, you know, because of ranked, obviously both sides get that opportunity, so it doesn't really matter. But it still makes it, like, annoying to play into. Yeah, so for context on how each of these teams is doing, right? FlyQuest won all of stage 1, right? So the grand finals in Group A and Group B were 100 Thieves versus FlyQuest and Nemesis versus Sentinels. And so FlyQuest went all the way through the losers bracket to 3-0 100 Thieves, who basically ran the winners bracket. So that was already an upset for them to make it through that entire bracket. Who's the problem character this season? Depends on what you define by problem. Because a lot of people... So let's put it this way. The average player, the problem characters are the Flyers. So the Ironmans, the Ultrons, the Storms, those are the problems. But in the ranked, or I mean, in the esports case, right, you know, you have people who aim train for a living. So shooting out Flyers isn't that much of an issue comparatively to them, you know? I could play Punisher and shoot them out of the sky relatively quickly. So that the fact that they're Flyers only applies to people who don't have aim to shoot down Flyers. So now the real issue is the problem with support ults basically dictating the entire, like, momentum of how the games run. So right now, all of... I'm trying to see if they can actually make it through this. I think Techie actually should hold. Where this is where everyone's just dropping their loads. So that clearly right there explains the frustration with the process of how this game operates, right? There is a 12-second ultimate that will heal in a 30-meter radius. And there aren't enough ultimates or things you can do to directly counteract what some of those healing ultimates do, right? So basically Luna Snow, Cloak and Dagger, Invisible Woman, those three characters will forever be problem characters until there is some sort of, like, strong... Wow, they might actually save this. Wow, they're keeping the dream alive. Holy shit. Come back to Overwatch. Your Doom gameplay was revolutionary. Is actually good. I mean... Oh my god, it's overtime. They might actually... FlyQuest might actually take this. Blue is FlyQuest. Red is Techie. Wow, they actually saved it. Insane. Do I miss Overwatch? No. Do I miss the community I had when I was playing Overwatch? Yes. Will that make me go back and play Overwatch? No. I'm too interested in the future of like the future and evolution of Marvel Rivals. It's in a crazy spot right now, and I completely understand that, but I think Marvel Rivals has like, ooh, just a little bit more damage. Marvel Rivals has so much potential, added to the fact that like if I go back to Overwatch, it's just going to be the same problem I kind of left for, which was I only had fun really playing one character. And Marvel Rivals now I've managed to circumvent that feeling. Like there are enough characters that I enjoy playing that I don't feel like I'm in just like an absolute blender if I'm not playing. Ooh, big kill. The Star-Lord pick is actually paying dividends. But that ultimate might not go too hot. No, it's working. It's working. It's not really working. I mean, it forced them into some bad situations, so it is working. This ultimate's great. I don't want to go back to Overwatch and only play Doomfist, honestly. Because if I'm playing Doomfist and then I stop having fun playing Doomfist, then I just go back into the same issue, which will make me want to quit Overwatch again. Plus, I'm actually a creator for Marvel Rivals. Like, there's too many benefits to just give up. The Fate of Both Worlds, is that what Luna Snow's ultimate is called? All right, this is where you have to hold. I mean, your team's not dead, but your team might be dead. Periods of time where no one can kill each other. Yeah, that's the only thing. And I think that's my biggest thing about this game right now is like this is in the early states of like any video game where it's just like super rough around the edges. Oh my God, I think Techie takes this. Carries him out. Yep, smart ultimate. The only thing about this game right now that I wouldn't say only. One of the biggest problems that this game right now has is it doesn't have its own identity, right? Like it hung off of the it is too heavily attached to the generic like branding and identity of Overwatch itself, right? And so the real problem is it needs to identify itself as its own game and like make that identity very clear. But what it's doing right now is making a very bad identity for itself because its identity does not really stand up well with the expectation of what players want from a video game. Let me cook. I think they should stop letting low-ranked players balance the game. I think that's a crazy... We could go back and forth on this, and I actually do want to, but I think the majority of how balancing works for most video games at this point, top to bottom, is the 60 to 70% like analysis of data. Like, what does the data say? Who's extremely strong right now? Like, the meta supports are basically what is driving this game right now, right? Those characters are extremely strong. Was Spider-Man really that strong, though? Hold on, I'm getting there. 70% of what the game is dictated by right now is really what those statistics say, like, are the strong characters. Was Spider-Man really that strong in season 2? Yes, bro. Like, I don't want to say it was like, you know, the nerf to where it is now is completely different than. God, I'm trying to describe what I'm saying, because the nerf was necessary. Let's be 100% honest. The state that Spider-Man was in absolutely prevented any possible counterplay. And high rank Spideys were getting packed though, kinda. Yeah, but you could apply that to pretty much almost any character, right? Like, they weren't getting packed entirely, but like, as you get into higher ranks, every character gets harder to play. So I wouldn't have even said he was getting packed. Like, I wish I had some of the like immediate data to support kind of my statement on how things were in season 2 or 1. But like, the state he was in, once you picked that team up, bro, he kills so many people in the back line with absolutely no counterplay, right? As a player, 1, it's a horrible experience to play against, and 2, if there's no direct counterplay, this combo wasn't as hard as people were saying. Yeah, bro. I think in like 2 days of playing Spider-Man, I had figured out the combo, and I'm like, yeah, this shit is fucking ridiculous. And so the conversation then becomes, right, like, we can't just look at what the statistics state. We also have to look at the player experience. Like, that does have an influence on how we're going to buff and nerf things in this game. Like, let's be 100% honest. If there's stuff that's happening in the game that there's no counterplay for, the general player is going to feel like that's a horrible experience and feel like it's overpowered. The data may not support that entirely, but there has to be something we can do to improve the player experience while not entirely shifting the data, right? It's hard to do both of those things at once, but sometimes it is what it is, you know? Spider-Man players like to inflate their egos. He isn't impossible to learn. You get the hang of it in a couple of days. Yes, which I feel like would further support my point in that, like, because there's more ease in learning that 5-star character than originally believed, you can still get the insane output of playing Spider-Man without having to put thousands of hours into Spider-Man, and you could still one-shot people. Like, the problem is more about how the players feel about that character, right? And it was the same thing with Hela. Like, realizing that Hela could 2-shot people was a horrible experience, but like, what can we specifically do to that to balance that experience without absolutely murdering the character's like standings within the meta and like the data? We made it 3 shots, which 3 shots still isn't like a great experience to play against, considering her firing rate's pretty high, but it's better than 2 shots, right? Like, you gotta kind of temper those expectations over a while and then kind of figure it out, you know?
Sorry, Cozy. Yeah, hearing you say that you guys didn't expect to win, like, and then you guys came out already winning that first map. I mean, you guys saved the protection on the side. Like, we saw the same thing from FlyQuest.
And so the thing is, right now, we are in such early stages of the game and figuring out what that identity for the game looks like, because we don't know what we want these characters to do and the player experience to be yet, right? Like, right now, the player experience feels bad because strategists run the game. Or strategist ultimates. I won't say strategist in general. I mean, I can say strategist in general, right? Like, my personal opinion is 3 strategists should not be an end-all, be-all and basically lead you to a greater chance of victory, because that basically indicates that strategists are more important and more influential than every other role in the game. And overall, the long-term goal should be that picking a strategist is just as good as picking a DPS, which is just as good. My bad. Which is just as good as picking a duelist, which is just as good as picking a Vanguard. What's up, tech support? How you doing? And so right now we're stuck in the identity of like strategists need to be powerful. People who play support and heal need to make sure that they have some type of like feeling that they are driving how this game goes, because that was the Overwatch problem. Nobody wants to play Ana, Kiriko, Brig if they're not feeling like they're giving some sort of impact to how this game is going. Like what's driving the momentum of this game. So that being said, Marvel Rivals did the exact opposite and said strategists need to be strong. Like, we want you to feel strong playing strategists, so you want to play strategists. Like, it shouldn't be an afterthought. I like the direction they're going with faster seasons and a jumble of content just to add enjoyment. I think that is because of basically what I'm talking about right now. Like, they need to play with the numbers more. Like, it's not even about the amount of content. I feel like it has to do with the balance of the game. The thought of a huge character roster would definitely bring me back. I don't think that the problem is the thought of a large character roster won't fix the issue if you cannot fundamentally fix the issue with specific characters being usable and necessary in the first place. Because right now, nobody is picking Black Widow. Why? Because her impact doesn't really matter. Because you can't, like, unless you are, the amount of skill it takes to get any realistically, like, strong change in the momentum of the game is, like, astronomically bigger than the amount of work that you could, like, that you would have to put in playing Hawkeye. Like, Hawkeye, you can get a lucky headshot and you shoot faster, you don't have to aim as much, like projectiles are bigger. There's so many more reasons to play Hawkeye than there are to play Black Widow. And so now, what is the reasoning to play Black Widow, right? Like, it doesn't make sense. With more players, like with more characters, obviously, there's more different compositions to make up, but it doesn't matter if those compositions can't play up and like equal to the better standing things in the game in the first place. Think about games like Valorant Rivals having different character balancing in different modes, comp versus casual. It's too much numbers. It's too much numbers to deal with. For someone who plays both, that's an unrealistic expectation to have a balance around comp and casual gameplay. Like, it's way too much to think about that my cooldown for, Vibranium Dash is 5 seconds in comp, but in casual it's 7. Like, there's too many different aspects to think about on that being way too many different player experiences to balance those two things. Plus, I don't even know if coding is possible to do that. Like, I'm not a developer by any means whatsoever, but like, I would assume that sounds very hard to fucking do. But yeah, it just so many ways to absolutely blow my mind on how these different streams of gameplay are working differently. Because then so many different characters would bring many metas and be used to stop others. I would hope so, but I cannot guarantee so. The reason why I specifically bring up more characters not shifting the meta is League of Legends. League of Legends has like 100. You know what? Let me look up the exact number. There are 170 champions in League of Legends. With 171 coming out. Is Yunara out yet? Okay, there are 171 champions. in League of Legends. How many of those do you think are actively played? Like actively as in somebody most game. Like at a certain point, there's too many. League is a different type of game though. Why? It is a team. It's basically it's a top-down hero shooter. It's got a set objective. So does Marvel Rivals technically. Like it's comparatively, I would only argue the difference between those things is the item relationship between like, you know, these characters have to buy these items, like, but the archetypes themselves, I think, kind of still applies. Like the general overall ideology between League of Legends and a hero shooter kind of is the same thing to me. Let me see if I can champions. Let's see. Pick rate. Let me see what the lowest pick rate. Teemo, surprisingly, I didn't think that was that low. No, that's Teemo support. I got to remove the whole. Let's just go by. Let's go by. It's hard to kind of dictate how this works. I want to see if I can go overall pick rate. It's hard to dictate this really, because it even includes in their roles versus just as a general character. Like Kai'Sa bot is the most picked character. Who do I be playing? It depends. If I'm playing top lane, it's Nard, Darius, or no, it's probably those two. Mid lane, Zed, Silas, Echo. That's about it. Jungle, Kayn, Zac, Lee Sin. I don't really play bot lane at all. I'm not a huge fan of support or ADC. So the only things I've really played are jungle, mid, and top. I remember you were playing Black Panther. I was, in fact. What's up, Lasers? There's like 80 characters in Smash. Yeah, but I would argue Smash, I think, is the closest thing you could describe to like having a general balance of overall characters, because each of those characters have things that they're very strong at and very weak at. I think Marvel Rivals struggles with making characters with weaknesses. And that to me is one of the biggest problems. Like, I talk about this all the time. Punisher is one of the characters that makes the least amount of sense to me in like Marvel Rivals, right? If you had to directly compare his archetype to someone in Overwatch, it would literally be Soldier 76. But Soldier 76's problem is that he has nothing for close range. Like, you can fire a Helix rocket and maybe get someone off you in close range. But once you get into close range with somebody who actually has like a melee weapon or has some sort of better tools for handling close range, like a shotgun, Soldier 76 is fucked. You just have to run. In literally Marvel Rivals, you just have to deal with the fact that Punisher has answers to everything. He's got low mobility, but like that's not really a problem. He's got an assault rifle and a shotgun. People get close to you, you shotgun them. People get far from you, you assault rifle them. Like there's no real weakness outside of mobility, which I would argue isn't really a weakness, because there's very few characters that actively have significant mobility because they're assassins. That's what they're supposed to do, right? Like, and I think that to me is an issue. There are characters that don't have weaknesses. Characters like Ana, her weakness is she cannot deal with melee range, right? Like, she has a get out of jail free card kind of, but it's very skill based. You have to sleep somebody that gets super close to you. And even then, like, that's an outplay mechanic. You have to use the skill of playing Ana to sleep people in order to, like, stop them from absolutely fucking your life up. In Marvel Rivals, if you're playing Invisible Woman, you double jump, you're gone. Like, you're invisible, and whoever was on you in melee range lost you entirely. There's nothing they can do. You're playing Loki, you pop a lamp, there's nothing they can do. There's no, like, actual skill involved in the counterplay. It's just I press a button, I'm safe. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, the biggest problem in this game to me is that they've removed the potential skill expression and made it like they've given too much power to individuals. And, like, to what extent do I pull that back and start making characters feel weaker again? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Is she replace Vicky Kitty on Caster with you? No, she's great. She's great.
It's going to be another target ban situation where we saw with FlyQuest, a lot of those target bans were just completely filtered.
One of my goals is to get a little bit more into kind of the generic status of where Marvel Rivals is in terms of, like, the meta picks, what esports looks like, all of that stuff top to bottom, so I can cast or, like, co-stream at, like, a LAN or something. And, you know, I'm just a random guy, but I would love the opportunity. Bro, I just learned what GOATS was, like, a week ago. Maybe, like, 3 days ago. It's crazy that I just learned what GOATS is.
Yeah, it is. And when you look at these fresh faces, some new profiles.
I played Overwatch for, like, 3-4 years, and I had no idea what GOATS was until, like Tuesday, maybe. No, it wasn't Tuesday. It was, like, last Thursday, because that's when playoffs? No, that's when grand finals in stage 1 was.
What Windows brings to the table with the Groot has always been the wombo combo to actually enjoy seeing.
Yeah, Jarvis clipping all that right here. Nero just insane accuracy.
So yeah, there's just so many factors that I think influence what needs to change for this game to kind of, like, build its like own identity. And even if it's like, no, let me rewind what I said previously. I think this game has its own identity. I think its identity is just messy. But here's the thing, they got their loss out of their way. You know, they were kind of, like, there are things that this game has that you can't do in Overwatch, which is great. I love that. But some of the things that you can do in this game feel fucking horrible to play.
Yeah, and, you know, after they lost out on that game one that you,
and that's not a bad thing necessarily. It's a, you know, a thing that can change and be fixed. The only real problem is how soon are they going to make this possible? Because
yeah, absolutely. And if you guys are new to watching these teams in general, Ryan Mazing on the other
the
side,
average gamer, I guess, is losing interest. I'm here to ride the wave and keep playing this game. I have so much time to dedicate to this now too. Like, I've been looking for a game to stick to. Like, this game is less than a year old. Like, it's not lost on me that, you know, expecting this much out of a game this quickly is a lot, considering, you know, when Overwatch came out, it was the fucking cream of the crop. Like, there were like 10 other games that came out that probably did the same thing, but, like, just off of IP alone, Overwatch was just so much more, like, I don't even want to say backed, but there was so much more faith in Overwatch to be a good game. Because, one, it was, like, Blizzard is behind it. Like, come on, World of Warcraft, Blizzard's got, like, so much money to just dump into making this be a good game long term, which is the same thing now with Marvel Rivals, obviously. But the second thing is like it had established itself so strongly with its aesthetic that like even today I would watch an Overwatch TV show because of how well the world has been entirely like built and all these characters have been established. And I can't think of too many other hero shooters that have had that strong of an impact on like gaming culture. Paladins came and went. Paragon / predecessor came and went. I'm trying to think of all the hero shooters that I know of. They might actually protect the Emma Frost. This might be the first time. Well, no, it's banned. I'm sorry. So then you got to ban it on the opposite direction. Yeah. It's probably going to be a Magneto Protect. I'd be very surprised if it isn't. A Captain America? Wow. I'm surprised by that, actually. Because it looks like a lot of teams have been running Magneto as like the next best, not even the next, as the best tank. Okay, banning the Loki. Which is surprising that all of the bans that I'm seeing in esports are none of the bans that I'm seeing in regular ranked. So for those of you that don't understand how this goes, right? So both teams get to pick a ban at the same time, right? Then one team gets to pick a protect, and then the other team gets to pick a ban. And then one team gets to pick a protect, and then one team gets to pick a ban. And then both teams go back to a double ban, and then the cycle continues. So it's like a double ban, a protect, and then another ban, a protect, and then another ban, and then a double ban, and then a protect, and another ban, etc. So Sentinels versus Envy, if there's anything about how these teams did in stage 1, we would basically have to assume that Sentinels should win this. But, again, anything that has to do with previous runs in the playoffs doesn't necessarily mean they'll do it twice. Yep, 62% makes sense. So what are we looking at? No Ultron pick, surprisingly. Magneto on both teams, of course. That's the go-to tank pick. Oh my god, the thing I didn't even talk about was like dealing with particle effects. Because even with all of this stuff happening in the game, oof, the Star-Lord pick does so much more work than I think it does. The viewing experience of watching Marvel Rivals is also so crazy to deal with. And I don't know if it is because of how the spectators control watching this, or if it is because of the particle effects. We're already getting into the healer ultimates. Like, look at this. That's a big ultimate, but you got to wait for the Luna Snow ultimate to end or nothing's going to happen, man. You're just shooting nonsensically. And see, that's the thing. Healing ultimates, man, they just drive the entire momentum. What's up, Sun God? Should get that. Ooh, there he is. Okay, cool. How am I? I'm cool. Just vibing, watching esports. Sentinels takes the first point. I mean, they're already at 50%, but first team wipe, nice. And I'm surprisingly actually seeing more Adam Warlock gameplay. Even though in ranked, I would never see any. Well, again, it gets a lot more output from esports players because they get the headshots. This should probably tear through somebody. This is a big ultimate. Oh my god, 4 kills? But they all come back to life. Big res. So Sentinels is basically resetting around the back end here. But Envy will still get the point first. I like the LEDs. Thank you. I'm putting more stuff back there. I just haven't finished. Oh my god, this is big. But support counter, of course. So that ultimate ends up wasted. So now the second support ultimate comes out, which it looks like that's the Sentinel's ult. Does that get anything? No, it doesn't. Still have the Cloak and Dagger ult down. You're not going to get those kills there. Big portal, though. See, Envy never even recaptured the point, even when they got all of those kills onto Sentinels. Ooh, nice. And Sentinels takes round 1. That's so surprising to me. Because I would have thought after the Punisher ultimate killing 4 of the team. Well, I guess the revive technically brought Sentinels right back to point, but I still would have thought that they would at least get point captured before Sentinels would get back onto it to continue their push. That's actually very surprising. What you been up to, Sun God? Surviving? Oh, re-fucking tweet, bro. Re-faggin' tweet. So at least from what I'm seeing is the Star-Lord pick is actually getting a lot of strong output here. Healing ultimate to push through the choke point. The Mantis ultimate does actually still have them get forced back Sentinels. This is a big ultimate. This has got to get at least 2 kills. Oh, he ends it early. He could still probably get these kills. Yeah, man, the Psylocke pick is always doing work. Oh, well, the Mantis pick has the passive. That's a good point. Got to do it twice. Yeah, man. Everyone reviving from the Adam Warlock team up actually just saved them that team fight. Try and go to the zoo or museum to get out of the house. That sounds like a good idea. Yeah. Could just go for a walk, you know. See the sights. Is that a Hela pick? Wow, a Hela pick comes out. That's a not big ultimate. Never mind. I'm actually... Well, I can't say I'm surprised. Sentinels is allegedly the better team just based off of how Stage 1 went. Wow, still getting a kill in that. I didn't watch that many movies today. I've only watched one. Yeah, you can't let watching movies just be your summer, man. You got to get outside more. Is that going to be a big ultimate? No, I don't think there's anyone around to die in it. Yeah. Envy's not really getting off of any really big picks. I think. Oh, never mind. Holy shit! What did I miss? Well, Envy starts their hold on the center here, but right now, I don't know what the objective here is going to be. Are we trying to get... Captain America might die. Well, no, he'll be fine. Big ultimate, but... Ooh, wow, never mind. I thought the Soul Bond might save them, but holy shit, he just chunks through the entire team. The Mantis comes back to life and also immediately pops her ultimate. The Lunar Snow ultimate automatically in return. Actually, no, that's Loki, technically. Man, every time I see someone playing Psylocke in these matches, it's just sharp. Tried watching Bad Boys 2, but it wouldn't let you. That's sad. Who's my favorite team? I don't really have one. I haven't watched enough. I haven't watched enough of the esport yet to really see whose team I like. A lot of them are really playing very similar compositions, so it's not like, you know, anything different has come out to be like, oh, I like what they're doing with X, Y, and Z pick. Did he survive? We just switched off people? Yeah, he survived. Okay. I was like, what? All right, Lunar Snow ultimate. Plus the... Ooh, that might be big, but she's soul bonded, so she should be fine. Never mind. Oh my god. Every time I say that, you can still chunk through people while they're soul bonded, but Jesus Christ, every time I see it, it blows my mind. Yeah, none of them are really standing out. I mean, right now, I mean, if I'm just being my generic self in the teams I enjoy, then will this portal be fast enough? I think he'll get to it. It gets a point. Oh my god, the Star-Lord paying dividends. Yeah, that's it. Easy. Jesus Christ, Nectar. Wow, Sentinels reclaims the point after the portal move. Wow. That's actually crazy. Oh, that's the clutchest shit I've ever seen. That's insane. 2 rounds, yeah. Yeah, so if I had to be generic and say what teams I like the most, I mean, 100 Thieves, I'm just a fan of 100 Thieves in general. Between their League of Legends teams, Call of Duty team, just as an organization in general. But Apex Legends team, but I tend to be more of a fan of teams that I get to like watch play actively, and I haven't really given the opportunity. Like, no, I usually find one strong player who stands out on teams, and I follow that player around to other teams, because the way esports is that a lot of their seasons, at least League of Legends is this way, Apex is probably the same way too, their seasons are so like short and frequent that like you can't expect a team in spring to be the exact same team in summer to be the exact same team in winter. If that happens, it's usually because 1, they're a dynasty, or 2, they were close, and shaking the fucking table will actually make things worse, right? So like if I had to mention the teams I've been like a fan of in esports previously, it's been like TSM originally, way back with League of Legends. I want to say in like the like 16, 17s, something like that. It was a long time ago. Holy shit, never mind. TSM, Cloud9, 100 Thieves. Who else have I watched a lot of? TSM, Cloud9, 100 Thieves. Damn. NRG. That's pretty much it, actually, I think. There's probably more. I'm just not remembering most of them. Yeah. Team Liquid. Team Liquid's more of a recent one, though. There are a couple teams FaZe. I haven't watched, which is surprising because FaZe is an Atlanta team, and I really should be a fan of like FaZe esports, but I just haven't seen enough. That's the same thing I was saying earlier. I haven't seen like enough of their games or like watched any of like the players I like paid attention to play on FaZe. Like I know FaZe has a crazy Call of Duty team because that's one of the things that they're notorious for, being like a Call of Duty esports team, and then two, like if you make that reputation, you got to follow up with it in actual professional esports versus just being the trick-shotting organization. But that being said, like FaZe, I fuck with FaZe as a whole, but I don't know if I've ever like watched much of their esports. Optic, I'm a big fan of Optic. But if I had to pick one, it's probably just 100 Thieves. I just wish I had seen some more of these teams. It's like when you're growing up and watching a lot of sports, you either become a fan because somebody around you was watching that team, and so you like watch that team with them, and then all of those people grew on you, or you found a player and then stuck to that team. Like I'm a Lakers fan now because I grew up on Kobe Bryant and then just became like stuck to the Lakers afterwards. But like other than that, I'm like I don't really have a favorite team unless I get the opportunity to like stick around and watch these teams long term. In esports, it's such a hard thing to get really attached to a team because their rosters switch so often. Like usually I get attached to a team because of the roster, and if the roster is switching, then I can't really be attached to the team. Like I can name on, if you gave me an esport and asked me to name some players, I could probably only name like 4 or 5 at most in one esport. Other than League of Legends, I can name a lot of them. Call of Duty, I couldn't. Well, no, Call of Duty I could, but I'd probably just name the entire Optic roster. Call of Duty, League of Legends, Overwatch, I couldn't name one except XQC, but that's like super old X Pro. It doesn't even apply now. Marvel Rivals, I couldn't name you one. Like maybe just off of the like couple games I've watched between today and like the past week I could, but I wouldn't have been able to before last week. What other esports are there? I said Call of Duty. Computer's still reading. I was wondering how long it would take for this to happen. All right, I gotta end stream there because my computer's not gonna fuck with me. Y'all be blessed. Be safe. I'm going to turn my computer off before it explodes. Peace.